Have you ever been in a conversation, nodding and smiling, while your mind is just blankly repeating the words, think of something to say, think of something to say, it's your turn to talk? That feeling of panic isn't a personality flaw, it's a mental habit, and you can break it. That internal pressure to perform, that exhausting feeling of being stuck in your own head feels like a personal failure, like you're just not one of those people who are naturally good with others. But that's a myth. The ability to connect with ease isn't an inborn trait, it's a skill. And this video is your guide to learning it. We've synthesized decades of research and insights from foundational books on human psychology and communication to give you a single, powerful system for change. The goal here isn't to give you cheesy lines or teach you to fake a personality. The goal is to show you how to get out of your own way so the authentic, interesting person who you are with your closest friends can show up in any room with anyone. So why does that happen? Why does your mind, which works perfectly fine when you're alone, suddenly short-circuit when you're talking to someone new? To understand, you first have to meet the culprit responsible. It's a voice in your head, a harsh internal prosecutor that acts as the narrator for your social life. We'll call it the inner critic. This inner critic is the director of your anxiety. Long before you even walk into a room, it's whispering warnings, predicting failure, and replaying a highlight reel of every awkward thing you've ever said. But why is it so powerful? What is it so afraid of? It's fueled by one single fundamental fear. It's not a fear of other people. It's the terror of the reveal. The reveal is that dreaded moment when you believe a perceived flaw will be exposed, leading to instant judgment and rejection. Maybe it's the fear of showing anxiety, that they'll see your hands shake or your face blush. Maybe it's the fear of a flawed character, that it will become painfully obvious that you're boring or unintelligent. Or the most common one, the fear of having flawed social skills, that you'll have nothing to say and the silence will be excruciating. This fear of being found out is what triggers the disaster. Because your brain wants to protect you from this horrible reveal, it activates a defense mechanism. It turns your attention inward, appointing an internal security guard whose only job is to watch you constantly. And so begins the endless self-monitoring. Am I making enough eye contact? Too much? Was that a weird smile? Oh no, I think I'm starting to sweat. Just act normal. Act normal. This security check consumes 100% of your brain's processing power. All of your mental energy is being used to direct and critique your own performance. And that is the moment your mind goes blank. It's not because you have nothing to say. Your mind goes blank because it's too busy. It's running a full-time surveillance operation on itself. You can't possibly be present in a conversation with someone else when you're trapped directing a horror movie inside your own head. So the cage isn't a lack of skill, it's a prison of self-consciousness. To escape, you don't need to be wittier or more charismatic. You need to learn how to shift your focus. So if you're locked in this invisible cage of self-monitoring, how do you get out? You've been told to just be yourself, but that's impossible when your warden, the inner critic, is watching your every move. What you need is an escape plan, a way to distract the warden, turn off the security cameras, and walk right out the front door. That escape plan is the single most powerful strategy for overcoming social anxiety. It's a simple, conscious change in direction. It's called the outward shift. The logic is brutally simple. Your brain can only truly focus on one thing at a time. It cannot simultaneously run a performance review on you while being genuinely curious about someone else. You have to make a choice. Imagine you're on a stage and you control a single, powerful spotlight. For your entire social life, you've been shining that spotlight directly on yourself. It magnifies every flaw. It highlights every nervous twitch. It puts a glaring focus on the fact that you feel anxious. Meanwhile, the person you're talking to is just a shadowy figure in the dark. The outward shift is the act of reaching down, grabbing that spotlight, and physically turning it away from yourself and onto them. You must consciously decide to become a detective. Your mission is to learn about them. Focus on their face, not to see if they're judging you, but to actually see them. What does their expression tell you? Focus on their words. What topics make their voice light up? What specific words are they choosing? Focus on their story. When you are genuinely focused on discovering who they are, two magical things happen. First, your inner critic, now starved of the attention it needs to survive, begins to fade into the background. And second, you no longer have to desperately search for something to say. The conversation itself gives you all the material you need because you're actually listening to it. This mental shift is the foundation. It is the key that unlocks the cage. But you can start setting yourself up for an easy conversation before you even say a word. Your body is having a conversation long before your mouth even opens. The way you stand, the way you smile, the way you look at someone, these signals create an invisible atmosphere around you. They tell people whether you're open and confident or closed off and nervous. Luckily, you can learn to speak this silent language. Here are 3 simple techniques to create an aura of warmth and confidence, making people want to talk to you. First, fix your posture with a mental picture. Don't just think stand up straight. Instead, every time you walk through a doorway, imagine you are a marionette hanging by your teeth from an invisible string. Picture that string gently pulling your head up, your chin level, letting your spine fall into perfect alignment. This one visualization instantly transforms you from someone who looks timid into someone who looks like a winner. Second, master the flooding smile. A quick, nervous smile can feel insincere. It's like a social reflex. Instead, try this. When you meet someone, pause for just a second. Look at their face, as if you're soaking in their personality. Then, let a big, warm, slow smile flood across your face and spill into your eyes. It doesn't feel rushed, it feels genuine, and it makes the other person feel like they, specifically, are the reason you're smiling. And third, develop sticky eyes. Anxious people tend to dart their eyes away quickly, which signals discomfort. Instead, pretend your eyes are glued to your conversation partners with warm, sticky taffy. When you do have to look away, do it reluctantly. Let your gaze pull away slowly, as if you don't want to break the connection. It doesn't feel like staring. It feels like you are deeply interested in what they have to say. These 3 actions, the posture, the smile, and the gaze, work together to send a powerful, silent message. I am confident, I am friendly, and I am happy to be here. You've set the stage. You look approachable, you've shifted your focus outward, but now the conversation starts. What do you do when they're talking and that old panic starts to creep back in? You've set the stage, you look approachable, you've shifted your focus outward, but now the conversation is happening. They are talking, and that old panic starts to creep back in. That voice of the inner critic whispers, "Okay, get ready, it's almost your turn to say something brilliant." This is the moment where you must remember the most liberating truth of all communication. Being a great conversationalist isn't about being a great talker. It's about being a great listener. Your new mission isn't to dazzle them with your wit. It's to make them feel fascinating. And here are the 3 simplest tools to do it. First, become a word detective. Listen carefully to how they talk. People's voices change when they talk about something they love. A word, a name, a place will have a little more energy, a little more passion behind it. That's the emotional hot button. That's your clue. Your only job is to find that clue and ask about it. If they say, "Yeah, I love hiking," with a little spark in their voice, you don't have to think of a brilliant story. You just ask, "Hiking, what's the best trail you've ever been on?" You've just given them a stage to talk about something they love. But what if you can't even find a hot button? What if your mind is truly, completely blank, and all you can hear is the sound of your own heart pounding? This is when you use your lifeline. We call it the parrot. It's this simple. You take the last few words the other person just said, and you repeat them back with a gentle, questioning tone. That's it. If they say, "It's just been a really long and stressful week at work," your mind is blank. You have nothing. So you just say, "A stressful week?" This is a magic trick. It does two things simultaneously. It keeps them talking, and it proves you are listening, all without you having to generate a single new thought. It's the ultimate conversational safety net. The word detective and the parrot are both tactics that serve one grand strategy: the swiveling spotlight. Your job is to consciously keep that spotlight of attention focused on them. When you ask about their passions or parrot their last few words, you are inviting them to stay on stage. And here's the beautiful irony. People love to talk to an engaged listener. Your only job is to give them the stage, and they will see you as a brilliant, insightful, and fascinating conversationalist, often without you having said more than a few sentences. Listening is your secret weapon. But what about when you do have to talk? Here's a simple blueprint for navigating that dreaded small talk. So you've become a master listener, but there will be moments when the spotlight inevitably swings back to you, the dreaded small talk, the part of the conversation that can feel so pointless and robotic. But here's a reframe. Small talk isn't the conversation. It's the bridge you build to get to a real conversation. And your only job is to make that bridge easy for the other person to cross. Here are 3 simple tools to do just that. First, the What's It opener. This is for those who hate initiating. Instead of forcing yourself to come up with a clever first line, let your clothes do the talking. Wear or carry one small, unusual thing: a unique pin, a book with an interesting cover, a distinct tie. A What's It is a low-pressure, silent invitation for someone else to start the conversation by simply asking, "What's that?" It cleverly shifts the burden of initiation from you to them. Second, never give a naked answer. The fastest way to kill a conversation is with a one-word reply. It's a dead end. When someone asks you, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do?" don't just say, "Ohio," or "I'm in sales." That's a naked answer. Instead, always have a single, interesting sentence prepared that has a little bit of bait on the end, a hook they can easily grab. Instead of "Ohio," try, "I'm from a small town in Ohio that's famous for making all the world's glass marbles." You've just handed them 3 easy follow-up questions. You've built them a bridge. And third, build instant rapport with echoing. This is a powerful psychological trick that works on a subconscious level. As you listen, pay attention to the specific and sometimes unusual words they choose to use. Then, when you talk, gently echo 1 or 2 of those words back. If they say they just got back from a trekking expedition, you use the phrase "trekking expedition," not "hike." If they call their store a boutique, you call it a boutique. This creates a subtle but powerful feeling that you're on the same wavelength, that you just get them. All of these tools, from the mental shift to the nonverbal cues to these conversation blueprints, work together to accomplish one crucial goal. Confidence is not the ticket you need to get into the party. It's the trophy you get for having been there. You don't wait to feel brave to act. You become brave by acting. You build real, lasting confidence by taking small, courageous steps, especially when you're scared. Your confidence will always catch up to your actions. It never works the other way around. So here is your first, smallest step. Your challenge is this. In your very next conversation, pick just one thing from this video. Just one. Try the outward shift for 30 seconds. Use the parrot technique just once. Give one flooding smile. That's it. That is how you begin. Stop waiting to feel ready. The authentic, interesting, and kind person that you are is already there, just waiting for you to get out of your own way and let them out.